Hey, what's up guys? I'm back for another video. And you know this video is about, I'm not going to go all into it. Everybody has been talking about it. But I actually recorded this video and then I wanted to re-record it. I never posted it, but I wanted to re-record it because I wanted to read what the temperature was online. Not to form my opinion, but just to get a better understanding of what other people think and just to hear the feedback. So unless you literally have been living under a rock, the infamous episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta aired Sunday night, showing what actually happened at Kenya Moore's hair care event when she exposed, quote unquote, Britt Edie. And just to let at the beginning of the episode, Britt Edie is taken to task by the other cast members about her pistol comments, and she takes some accountability at first and then takes more accountability towards the later end of the episode. Whatever, fine. If I was Kenya, I would have never accepted Britt Edie's apology because what she said, trying to look gangster, trying to look like she's on an episode of Love and Hip Hop, was inappropriate and unneeded for Bravo. Take that over there to Love and Hip Hop, VH1, WeTV, MTV, take that over there. It was definitely not meant for Bravo. But anyway, so we get to Kenya Moore's event, and again, everybody finally sees it. Everybody sees how bad it actually was when in regards to what Kenya did. Britt walks in, tries to apologize. Kenya pays her dust, and she has every right to ignore that girl, act like she doesn't exist, because honestly, Kenya is a veteran of Real Housewives of Atlanta. She is an icon as a former Miss USA. She has no reason to pay somebody like Britt Edie any attention at all whatsoever. Even if they weren't on this show, there's no reason to pay her attention. So she was right there. Where Kenya loses everybody, and I feel like everybody had the same feeling. You say you want to pay this girl dust, but you paid money at Kinko's, used somebody's good printer ink, and bought poster board to pay her a large amount of time, energy, and attention. You cannot say you want to pay somebody dust and then pay them a whole bunch of attention on national TV. Positive or negative. You took time out of your event, even outside of that. You took time out of your day, away from time you could have been doing something better, prepping for your event, to do this, to pay this girl attention. And Britt Edie, honestly, thank God, Britt Edie wasn't in the room when this happened. So you were talking to a room full of people who didn't know what was going on, nor do they care. The only people who actually had somewhat of an investment in this beef between Britt and Kenya are the people from the cast. This is not like, from what I've seen, this is not like some beef that had spilled over into social media where they're going back and forth on Twitter and taking shots on Instagram, so that everybody gets to the party and they're like, ooh, I wonder if Britt and Kenya are gonna talk. Did you see what she posted on Twitter? Oh no, did you see the Instagram post? I heard this, I heard that. It wasn't like that. All this stuff had just happened, and it was just between the group, so nobody knows. So now you're telling a room full of people about some petty beef you have, and again, what Britt Edie did was wrong, but this did not need to be brought to the forefront. So you're bringing it to the forefront. You first bring up poster boards of her pre and post surgery, which I find laughable because Kenya, you've had surgery. I know Kenya is still in this whole thing about her butt being real. We all know Kenya's butt is not real. Everybody knows this. You're talking about, her surgeries. You've also had your breasts done. Nobody in the Real Housewives universe should be talking about somebody pre and post surgery, what you had done, and I can't believe you did this, and look how bad yours look. Everybody's work on Bravo, outside of maybe 5 or 6 people, is awful. Especially this year's cast of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Everybody's work is awful except for Portia's. Portia's work is good. Everybody else's work is the noses, the bodies, the BBLs. Everybody's work is bad. So I think that's just crazy to me that we're doing that. The next poster board is talking about how she was a video girl, but she was a bottom bearer video girl, and Kenya was a leading lady. I don't know why this is a flex to anybody. Kenya, you were a former Miss USA who ended up being a magazine girl and a video vixen. Instead of honing in your skills, like I thought you wanted to be an actress and sticking to that, you went backwards. Like when you think about it, the women back in the day who were video vixens were trying to get out of that and move into more mainstream stuff. Melissa Ford has talked about this. A lot of those video vixen girls have talked about them wanting to do other stuff, but the money is good in video vixen world. So Kenya, that's not a flex. And I think at the time when Britt Eddie was doing these videos, she might have been in her early 20s. In some videos, I think she might have been 18, 19 years old. So it's not like she's a 35-year-old woman trying to be a video vixen. So these are all weird reads to me. Then comes the final poster board, which I think there were other ones, but because she didn't get the reaction she wanted, she stopped putting the poster boards up or bringing them up. The final poster board is a blown up picture of Britt giving adult time that requires knee pads, I don't know what you can say on YouTube, to somebody. And it is blown up. I am so sorry to whatever Staples, Office Depot, FedEx, Kinko's guy had to look at that being print out, because there's no way you did that on your own printer. You had to go somewhere for that. And they had to see this type of image while they were there at work. And everybody in the room is appalled. Rightfully so. I thank God that there was no woman there who thought this might be a really cool event to bring my teenage daughter. Because for a lot of these adult events, if the daughter is over 16, they'll bring them. I mean, if that was me, a cool hair spa with the cool things she had going on, I would have absolutely brought my teenage nieces and been super excited. And then I would have been so upset if Kenya would have done this. It's inappropriate to subject guests who have no idea one about your beef, are now all of a sudden looking at P-word. P-word being, the word we can't say on here. Looking at an adult film clip out of nowhere. Nowhere. And everybody's disgusted, shocked, appalled. The women walk out. So here's where my interesting commentary comes. People are like, well, Portia left first and didn't want to be involved. That's a shocker because of what she did with Kandi and Phaedra. It's not a shock because of what she did with Kandi and Phaedra. Portia has already been accused with a whole Kandi Phaedra situation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, years ago, Phaedra accused Kandi of trying to SA Portia, like drug her and SA her. Portia brought that rumor back to Kandi. So now Portia is so cautious. She knows how bad that went. She doesn't even want to be in the room in an agreement or have that rumor started or have anybody say, oh, well, Portia was there and Portia was cool with it, because then it brings it all back again. So I get why Portia was like, I don't want to be associated with this. I've been there. I've done that. It was not fun. It almost ruined my career. I'm out. I'm good. So I get why she left. People are saying how Cynthia is this awful, horrible friend. How? Because Cynthia told Kenya her worth as a woman, and it wasn't this. That's what I would have told my friends. Why did you do this? This was your big event. This is a beautiful event that you really put some effort into. Creativity went into this. Just the whole vibe of it was beautiful. The hair show, it was a great event. Why are you lowering yourself to this girl? Who is married to this weirdo guy, who is suspected of being in an MLM regarding insurance. She's not worth it. Why would you do this? You're Kenya Moore, a former Miss USA. Why? I will never understand it. And Cynthia was right. You're better than this. You're bigger than this. You shouldn't have done this. And I'll call you later, girl. That's a normal reaction of a real friend. Shami and her confessional, everybody is making sense. Drew just sat there, so I don't know what Drew's deal is. But you could see in Kenya's demeanor after Cynthia said what she said, actually how the room reacted, that she realized this did not go over how I thought it was going to go over. And it makes me wonder, girl, how did you think this was going to go over? Did you think everybody was going to be high-fiving you, slapping fives, be like, ooh, girl, look at that, I can't believe that, how dare... Is that what she thought? It can't be what she thought, because that doesn't make logical sense. No normal person would support you putting up any P-word, any adult film screenshot of anybody, even if it wasn't a beef. If somebody thought it would be funny to have him on the walls, like, people would be like, ew, why is that up there? Like, what kind of event is this? Why are you showing us this? I don't know what her reaction, if she thought her reaction was. It definitely wasn't what she thought. Because she looked, to me, when it was over, Kenya looked defeated. And disappointed. And I don't know if she's disappointed in herself, or disappointed in people's reaction, or disappointed that she ruined her event. I don't know. But it wasn't the usual sassy of, well, she got what she deserved. It is what it is. Unless Bravo cut all of that out because they didn't want Kenya to look worse. And that may be logically what happened, is that they didn't want Kenya to look worse. They're like, we're just not going to air her gloating. But even her face looked unhappy and disappointed, and that it just didn't go over well. And I mean, and now your event is clearing out, and now everybody is talking about it in a negative way. They're talking about your beautiful, gorgeous, luxury hair spa in a negative way. It will always and forever be attached to this event. And in a previous episode, Kenya was talking about franchising. If you've been a fan of my channel, you know that's a space that I exist in. I help businesses expand their franchises through digital advertising. There is no way anybody will franchise a Kenya Moore hair spa because it is attached to this type of scene. I can't even think of a franchise agency, because there's different types of, I'm not going to go into the franchise world, but I can't imagine a franchise partner trying to help her expand with knowing this type of information. And people are like, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. It is a big deal when you show adult film clips at a place that's not a sex store, that's not adult film set, that is not some kind of adult film convention. It is a big deal. Also, I don't know if anybody else noticed this. I've watched it a couple times and I noticed that Kenya was drinking a lot. And I don't feel like she was drinking for fun, because she wasn't holding a cocktail glass in front of other people and just kind of sipping and drinking and high-fiving and cheersing. Kenya was going to the back taking shots of Patron. And by the way, ill. She's taking shots of Patron, and most likely for liquid courage, but it seems like she was drunk, or she was a little intoxicated when all of this went down. And maybe in a clear head, she wouldn't have done this. Maybe she got all the liquid courage she needed because she knew what she was going to do was going to be the point of no return. But she definitely was drinking. And she shouldn't have, because that, I feel, that it really contributed in a negative way to how this happened. Britt, Edie, and Kenya both should have been fired. Both of these women made very ignorant and stupid mistakes that they should never have made on this platform. You want to do that? Again, take it over to WeTV. Take it over to OWN, I guess. Take it over to MTV. Take it over to VH1. Bravo is not about that life. They're not. Britt should have been fired. Or at minimum, both women should have been suspended, because what they did was not good and they shouldn't have done it. And lastly, let's talk about the whataboutism. Because again, if you're a fan of my channel, you know the whataboutism in the Bravo universe annoys me to no end, because it lets me know who's actually watching Bravo shows and who only watches their selective show. I watch all the Bravo shows, and people are making comments like, oh, well, if this would have happened, well, what they do on Jersey, they never do anything to those Jersey girls. They get to do whatever. That is absolutely not true. When Danielle smacked the crap out of Jennifer, Danielle was suspended. Janelle was suspended, I think, for 2 or 3 episodes after that happened. Even though she was provoked, like Kenya was, she was suspended. Then, after the whole reunion happened and all that went completely left, they didn't even have a reunion. None of those women are coming back. None of them. So they all had to deal with the consequences of some people's actions. When Phaedra did this, Phaedra was blackballed from everything for years. I didn't even know why Bravo bought her back, but whatever. Phaedra was blackballed. When Kim Zolciak made that comment in the bathroom about racism not being real, she never came back from anything. She was never asked back to come back to Bravo. her first time coming back is even her show. It's her weirdo daughters doing that, taking on NYC shows. So, Bryn Whitfield, with the whole thing that happened at Real Housewives of New York, she was not asked back. The awful season of Real Housewives of New York during the pandemic, Ramona made those comments about black women and all that kind of stuff. They just scrapped all of them. So people have been punished, and there have been consequences for bad comments or bad behavior. Portia, they weren't thinking about bringing Portia back after she attacked Kenya. But even in that moment, Kenya's goal was to provoke Portia to get fired. And we all know this. But people have been reprimanded for their behavior. It has happened. Vanderpump Rules. When Stassi said racist comments, Stassi ain't been back on TV since. When Katie, she also made inappropriate comments. She was gone for years, had to really beg Bravo to come back, and now she's on the Valley. Again, it's not a race thing or a dark skin girl thing or anything. It's not you're not watching the Bravo universe. You're staying in your bubble of Real Housewives of Atlanta only, and you're not realizing that Bravo has punished people. They have. So Kenya getting fired for this is not a shocker, but Britt should also be fired. And lastly, that was my lastly, but one more thing, and then I'll let you guys go because I'm talking a lot. Bravo was ready to get rid of Kenya for a couple of reasons. One, Kenya, it looks crazy, you as the older woman on the show with all these younger girls, and they're trying to do this whole young, flirty version of Real Housewives. Kenya doesn't fit in. Two, Bravo has been wanting to get rid of Kenya for a long time. Ever since she got married to Mark Daly, wouldn't let them come, wouldn't let them film it, didn't tell anybody. Her IVF journey, that whole thing, that really pissed Bravo off, because now they're thinking, you're going to pull some kind of Kyle crap and be edited and not show us everything and hide things and do this and do that, and we're not going to see it. And that made them upset. And she got suspended for that. And ever since then, we've seen multiple things Kenya has done that Kenya could have been suspended for, and they didn't. They didn't. Her whole bullying of Kim Fields for zero reason, pulling her chair out, acting disrespectful to her, what the heck was that for? Nothing. Nothing. They kept her then. The sticking the fan in people's faces, the sticking the bullhorn in Portia's face, and the scepter. She got kept for all of these antics. And Bravo's finally like, you know what? We don't care. We're done. You don't respect us. We don't need to respect you. I'm out. So that is my full commentary on Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Bravo universe, Kenya, and all this kind of stuff. It is what it is at this point. I know Kenya will bounce back. I hope she bounces back with her salon. I hope she puts every single effort into her salon. She says it's for her daughter. She didn't show it at her event because of what she did. I hope she puts it into her business so that she can really start franchising and really expand on her business. So drop it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm cool about it because I want to hear from other people. I appreciate the commentary and feedback, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.